We'll begin, first of all, there was I guess it's not on the agenda, but something that needs to be addressed. There was a concern by a committee member, and if that committee member wants to identify his or herself, they can, but I'm not saying any names. But there was a concern by a committee member that was sent, I guess, to me regarding First Amendment rights and classification of whether or not we're considered public employees. There was essentially an excerpt from a judge's decision. Essentially, what was stated is that when public employees make statements pursuant to their official duties, the employees are not speaking as citizens for First Amendment purposes. So this particular committee member was concerned that there could be a potential conflict of interest when serving either on the Radiation Safety Committee, Accelerator Safety Committee, or I guess for any other committee related to safety. So I sent this to Vice President Jacobson, who sought legal counsel, or sought ISU legal counsel, and also other members of the administration. So Vice President Jacobson came back with a statement that I'm supposed to read to you, and I can make this available to you if you like. Regardless of any First Amendment implications, all employees of Idaho State University are public employees. This is true whenever we are performing the duties of our position, whether we are teaching, performing research, or performing our service obligations, such as serving on committees. Our committee work is of vital importance to ISU, our community, our state, and in some instances, our nation. In performing committee service, ISU expects employees to abide by the rules and procedures of the university and the committee, as well as federal and state laws and regulations. This includes the regulations of any state or federal regulatory agencies that are applicable to the committee's work. Specifically with respect to the Radiation Safety Committee and the Accelerator Safety Committee, federal laws relating to safety and licensing are paramount. It has always been and continues to be ISU's policy to comply with all applicable rules and regulations, including those of the Nuclear Regulatory Commission, and including but not limited to 10 CFR 21 and 10 CFR 30, which essentially covers notifications and the requirements of the licensee, as well as requirements associated with ISU's NRC license, and ISU expects the members of the committee to do the same. This includes compliance with all notification requirements relating to any compliance failures or defects. I think what I want to add to this is that if anyone still believes there's a conflict of interest, they're more than welcome to resign from any safety-related committee. That includes the RSC or the ASC. But with that, the resignation needs to include a written resignation, I guess, a written letter to myself, and that will be forwarded to the VPR and to your associated dean, I guess, for whatever college you represent. Also to add that, chain of command of communication for representation of ISU to NRC is also paramount, except in the case of safety matters or what we consider maybe whistleblowing. Any notification to the NRC that's not first conveyed or I guess brought forward to the committee and to the RSO is strictly, I guess, prohibited. All right. And any such communication, can essentially result in pretty serious consequences. So I think we're all aware of that anyway, but I just wanted to add that. So there is authority and responsibility that the NRC looks at. So yeah, Mark, do you?
The motion that statement be included in the minutes in a hard copy that will be provided to all committee members.
I'll second the motion.
Okay, discussion. Well, any discussion?
But I'd like to add what I think is a friendly amendment, in that we also include the analysis of ISU legal counsel, Darling Jerry, who says that if the committee member speaks publicly about committee, it's not a whistleblower situation, there would be no First Amendment protections.
Okay, I don't believe that should be put in the Radiation Safety Manual.
No, I'm just saying
no,
distributed.
for it to be put in the manual, unless it be included in the
That can be, okay, that can be included in the minutes. There is some, actually, when we get to revision of the radiation safety manual, Peter has included some verbiage, I guess, that would essentially.
If I'm not
get into this.
mistaken, when Dr. Jacobson requested that legal opinion, he did request it confidential. So before we put it in any radiation safety manual or something, better check to make sure that there's no
Okay.
client.
Then there's a serious problem right now.
Well,
because
it's not a
the
serious
minutes- no,
problem, I
it
mean,
is.
I'm just
It
saying
is.
that we just need to check it before we put it in.
The proceedings of this committee are a matter of public record.
Yes, they are.
Okay, if that was confidential, then we needed to go into an executive session before it was read according to state law.
No, well, I'm just saying, that one statement from Darlene, I didn't know if that was confidential or not.
Okay, well, that wasn't read into the minutes, so that's.
Before, and that's.
I'm sorry, I
Not
thought you were
what, not
talking
me,
about
no,
this.
not what he's doing, no, what Darlene's initial.
I misunderstood you, I
Okay, yeah,
apologize.
Darlene's initial, request, I didn't know if that was confidential or not, so before we go making it public, we gotta make sure that it
Okay.
was not confidential to.
I have another question about a statement that you made, that if somebody resigns from the Accelerator Safety Committee, they have to send a letter to the VPR. The VPR doesn't appoint those people.
Well, no, letter comes to me, because essentially the Accelerator Safety Committee is a subcommittee, if you would, under the Radiation Safety Committee.
But you don't appoint those people either, they're appointed by the chair of physics.
Well, regardless, a letter of resignation needs to be included. Or at least some record, all right, if it, whether it be by email, regardless. This gets back to, again, the not the requirement, but public service is part of an employee's job responsibility, part of their workload. So.
And according to 10 CFR 21, and I believe 10 CFR 30 and the new regs, the administration can make no restrictions on anybody on campus contacting the NRC at any time. The law is very clear on that.
Well,
About any issue, it doesn't have to be about safety. I'm free to call the NRC at any time on anything I want to talk to them about.
I don't know, if you look at it, there are protections afforded in terms of, yes, safety, whistleblowing, that's fine, but you cannot call what I meant was you cannot call the NRC representing ISU. That's, maybe I should clarify. You cannot call representing ISU. The only
No,
one
that's
that can
true.
represent ISU is the administration, which appoints the RSO. So
No,
the RSO,
that is
okay.
true.
All right, well then let me clarify, that's what I meant in terms of
Okay.
notifying the NRC. You cannot act on behalf of ISU. So I will add the statements given by Dr. Jacobson to the minutes. Dan, in terms of your motion, as we need to clarify what is confidential
I'm
from
still,
that.
maybe I need to look at the regs, but so I couldn't call the NRC and say, hey, I'm chair of the Accelerator Safety Committee. I'm not allowed to do that.
Well, the NRC doesn't regulate accelerators anyway.
Yeah,
so
yeah, right.
As
Good point.
chair of
Okay.
the Accelerator Safety Committee, you'd have no.
I'm sure
You're
you
right,
could
you're right.
contact the
That's
NRC,
true.
but you can't say ISU, again, you cannot represent ISU in relation to
Can I say I'm on the
provisions
radiation
of the
safety?
license.
Well, no, you can't call the NRC and say it's ISU policy that,
Right.
Sure.
or that, I mean, that's what they're saying, but I mean, if you read the signs posted on every single door, on every radioactive material, I mean, it gives you your rights
Okay.
right there, and it affords anyone the right to contact with a safety concern, and I think that's what they pretty much said, is that when it comes to safety, we wanna hear it.
I have a question. As a public employee of ISU, I'm still unclear. Clearly, your statement said that ISU respects federal and state laws, and of course, we're not surprised by that. But the public employee had a question of what is that law? And that has yet to be answered. And the question is that law that he enjoys free speech protection in the committees, or do I follow Darlene's, ISU's legal counsel's suggestion that in order to get free speech protection, I must be a whistleblower?
I think Dr. Jacobson
answered that.
I think, what I think for the purposes of this committee, I'm thinking that what you, the statement you read is pretty.
Right, and I don't want to spend any more time on this. If you have any more, I mean, I'm not a lawyer, so if you have any additional
Yeah,
concern,
that's
I
the
would
key
talk
point.
to
We're,
Dr. Jacobson and go on. I'm
I agree,
providing-
that's the key point. We're not lawyers, and you just said you obey laws, and I believe that. I'm just asking, what is the law?
Well, again, I can't,
Yeah,
I mean, I can't get into that. And, yeah, right, I'm not a lawyer. I can't discuss anything related to First Amendment rights. I'm not one that can, specify or
I mean,
define those rights, so.
I'm concerned that, some people in this committee have, I don't know if they have specific information from legal about what they can and cannot do on this committee, and some of us are out here, I haven't seen anything in writing saying what I can do and what I can't do. Or newly change what I can do. So I'm a little bit, hesitant to say that, there's anything, I've been impacted in any way about, for making a judgment on this until somebody's told me in writing that, similar to the statement that Dan has, that, I'm being censored in any way. I just, like I said, this
The
letter's
statement is
confidential. I mean,
that there are
should be-
no First Amendment
Well,
protections.
And then you're saying that this is a confidential, we don't know if this is
It
confidential.
was forwarded to
too?
me.
Well, I mean, I think we need to have legal counsel here and make a clear statement, or are they directing us to that point, and then move forward from that point? But to me, it's all this hearsay. I mean, I get this, I get this email that says, I heard from somebody that First Amendment rights are probably perhaps not protected, and I don't even know what they're talking about. I mean, I understand the general theme of it, but nothing came to me, or this committee, I think, is, that censored us. And if that's an official position, then let's get it documented. And then we can act on it from that point.
Yeah, it's
We
clear-
Make our decisions whether to resign or stay on the committee and move forward. But, we can sit here and banter about it, what we think might be or what it probably isn't, but,
yeah, I agree with
Jacobson's
Roy.
letter
I agree with Roy
addresses
that,
but, I'm not,
Yeah, we're not in a position to go any further. with
Yeah.
For
this.
Dr. Jason's letter,
yeah, so,
and neither do I, so
yeah, I think the point is that the public employees had a question and it doesn't seem to have been answered.
maybe it's,
And we would like an answer from our supervisors.
I'm not sure that this is a solution in search of a
Okay,
problem.
well, I mean, I can go back to, to Jacobson and ask for more clarification, and if we have to have legal counsel address the committee, we can request that.
I think Dr. Jason in his letter said that individuals that have questions can address them directly.
Right,
So I don't even know if
yeah.
they could.
Yeah, again, we can't go any further, I don't want to waste any more time with this, so I will get back to Jacobson and I guess talk to him about, our concerns, or concerns of some of the committee members. Okay? All right.